class with this mantra number 46 from Rig Ved, and again it is अग्नि के बारे में है। अग्नि के बिना कोई भी कार्य सिद्ध नहीं होता। छोटे बड़े सभी कार्यों में अग्नि की आवश्यकता होती है। खाना पकाने से लेकर बड़े बड़े उद्योगों में आग का प्रयोग होता है। उद्योग क्या होता है? इंडस्ट्रीज, बिजनेसेस। यहाँ तक कि तेजस्वी के तेज में भी ऊर्जा दिखती है। ऋग्वेद के अनुसार अग्निम वृणाम वृणुतेः कवि क्रतुम, महान कर्म करने वाले अग्नि को वरण करते हैं। आग दरकार सब जगह, काम जहां भी होए, आग बिना ना काम चले, इससे ही कुछ होए। सूर्य को ही देख लें, सन्मुख वह परमान, बिन ना उसके जग चले, ये तो सबको ज्ञान। आज तो विद्युत सब जगह, जो आग ही जान, उसकी आवे तोट जो, कारज रुके महान। संचार सब हो आग से, मोटर हो या रेल, वायु पर जो यान है, आग बिना सब फेल। वेद में देवन की प्रभुताई, महिमा उनकी ऋषियन गाए, उनकी पूजा जन कर पाए, लोक लोकांतर लाभ उठाएं। ओम गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः, गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। अस्तो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्वी नावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम। So in this class we are studying Astavakra Gita. Guru's name is Rishi Astavakra and the student's name is King Janak. Okay. We are in chapter 9, and in this chapter Rishi Astavakra is recommending a three-fold effort in the realization of the real nature. कि अपना स्वरूप देखना है. How do we see it? He says cultivate these three qualities. In other words, it's called a triple means for self-realization. First one is indifference. Second is equanimity. And third is logical reasoning. So that's what we were studying last week. Indifference is nirved, equanimity is samta, and logical reasoning is yukti. So all these three, we are doing it at the physical level, like a body level, at the mental level, and at an intellectual level. So yukti is, logic is with the intellect. Equanimity is at a mental level, and indifference is at a bodily level. Okay, so any question what we studied last week, because we ended the class with verse number 3. So if you don't have any question, let's start with the number 4. Ka asau kalaha vaya kim va yatra dvandani no nrinam tani upekshe yatha praptvartihi siddhim avapnuyat. Ka means what? Asau, that. Kal is a time. Vaya, R, A-R-E-R. Kim means what? Again, Va means or. Yatra, where. Dvandani, pairs of opposites. Na means not. Nari, naam of men, like people. Tani means those. Upekshaya, Upeksha is abjuring. It's like a upeksha karna. Yatha praptvarti, one who rests content with what comes unasked. Siddhim is the perfection. Avapnuyat reaches. So now he is asking us a question, or we need to question ourselves. What is that time or that age in which the pairs of opposite do not exist for men? Because normally we say, no, I'm going to wait for the right time or for the right age. So he says, what is that right time? He who, abjuring these, rests content with what comes to him unasked, reaches perfection. All these temptations of the physical life, you think with the age it will go away? I mean, can we even imagine that when we get older than what we are, we won't be tempted or we won't be attached?
No.
So that's why he says, what is that time or what is that age? Or is there a special time, special muhurat? So the question of Rishi Astavakra implies the answer in itself, that there's never a time or an age when the pairs of opposites will not affect an ego entity. It will always affect this dvandva, this pairs of opposite, heat and cold, happiness, unhappiness, okay, pleasure and the pain. They'll always affect us. So what do we need to do? Detachment. Detachment from the mind is the only way to detach from the brutalities of the pairs of opposites. Only then, he says, a person can live contented and happy with whatever comes. Whatever comes. कभी घी घने, कभी सूखे चने, कभी वो भी नहीं. Haven't you heard that? Ghee घने means riches. सूखे चने, you are poor. And then sometimes not even that. Still you are content. It could be minus 25-degree temperature or it could be 125-degree temperature. Still, mind should not get disturbed. Okay? So, live contented and happy with whatever comes to him unasked. This is a yatha prapt varti. So, in such a peaceful person, the ego is dead. And when ego is dead, he has reached the perfection. And this reminds me of a Upanishad which says, Santosh amritah panen ye shant triptihi magata atma rama mahatma nastehe mahapadam agata. Drunk in the nectar of cheerfulness. Those peaceful people who have reached the sense of contentment, ever releving in the self, are the saintly ones who have already reached the great state. So contentment, it's not that they have gotten to a certain age or a certain level of health or certain level of wealth. No, it's an inner contentment and reach the perfection. The pairs of opposites, these dvand, they represent the two poles of the same vector. You all have done experiments with a magnet when you were little. Magnet has a south pole and a north pole, two ends. No matter how small you break the magnet, you cannot say it has only one pole now. It will always have two opposite. So these dvands are always there. So that's why there's another eloquent verse expressing the same beautiful message. Sukhasya anantaram dukham, dukhasya anantaram sukham, dve etathi jantunam, alaghyam din ratrivat. End of joy is sorrow. Sukhasya anantaram dukham. End of joy is sorrow, and end of sorrow is joy. These two are for the living creatures as inescapable as day and night. So we cannot try to end this. This manifested world, there are dualities are there. That's why it's manifested. We cannot end it. We can only rise above it. Otherwise, we say, no, if I have only daytime all the time, only then I'm going to be happy. Or if it's night all the time, I'm going to be happy. Then definitely you are asking for a trouble. When whatever ends, the thing which you asked for, you are again unhappy. So accepting this manifested world and then rising above it, being content wherever you are. Okay, so end of joy is sorrow and the end of sorrow is joy. That's why they say nothing stays same. Change is the only constant in this manifested world, change. So end of joy is sorrow, end of sorrow is joy. These two are for the living creatures. Okay, Jantunam means living person. And Alaghyam means inescapable. You cannot escape it. Din ratri vat, as day and night. Very simple words, but deep truth in there. So we cannot run away from sorrow without stepping into joy, and nor can retreat from joy without stepping into sorrow. So in other words, if we keep on just moving horizontally, we cannot escape the pairs of opposites. So how do we escape the pairs of opposites? Rise vertically. Vertically. Okay? So rise into a higher plane of consciousness. That's why when we meditate next week, next Wednesday, we're going to learn the different chakras, how we raise our consciousness to the higher planes. Okay? Nana matam maharishi nam sadhu nam yogi nam yatha drishtvaha nirvedam apannaha kana shamyati manavaha. Nana means diverse, many. Matam, opinions. Maharishi nam, great seers. Not just the rishi, maharishi, great seers. Sadhu nam, of sages. Yogi nams, of yogis. Yatha means as well as. Drishtva, seeing. Nirvedam, indifference. Apannaha, attained. Ka means what? Na means not. Shamyati, attains tranquility. Manvaha, a man. Where is that man? Who, having observed the diversities of opinions among the great seers, sages, and yogis, and thus becoming completely indifferent, does not attain tranquility. Because all these different opinions are also different ways to go to the same place. We don't need to get our intellect disturbed. For one person, looking up, finding that truth is okay. For the other person, looking within. Or some person can say, I want to cover my head. And some people can say, I want to just uncover my head. Those are all diverse ways. If we keep on just arguing about it and keep saying, this is the only way, then there's no tranquility. So tranquility is only when a person becomes completely indifferent, accepting that it's okay. Because infinite experience is only one and the same when it's based upon the direct experience. See, direct experience for a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or a Buddhist or an atheist doesn't matter. Direct experience is the same. The same. So the person who has experienced it, then there is no argument about it. Okay? And it's very natural to have different views. Yes, Jyoti.
Kim?
Yes, Kim.
Kim has a question.
Quick question. Hershey, what is the difference between a sadhu and a yogi?
Yogi is, in general, yogi term is used when a person has had the experience. Sadhu is still climbing. Okay? Sadhu, see, yogi, a person who has reached the perfection is called a yogi. But these days, people call themselves yogi even if they do a few asanas. Okay, so I'm not talking about today's definition of a yogi. The ultimate definition is a yogi who is united with God, who has had the direct experience. Sadhu is still trying. Okay?
Thank you.
See, I often quote Vivek Chudamani because we have done that scripture a few times. Shankaracharya ji is saying, Shabad Jalam Maha Aranyam Chit Brahman Karnam Ataha Partyanch Gyatavyam Tattva Gyatva Atmana. The worldly arguments are a dense forest which makes the mind lose its way. See, aranya means a forest, a very thick forest. So the worldly arguments are a dense forest which makes the mind lose its way and wander about. Hence, intelligent seekers should earnestly set about to realize the illuminating principles of consciousness, the eternal self. So we should keep that goal in mind. There could be many different opinions. Do not lose your energy, do not lose your time into arguments about which way is the right. Okay? By words and arguments, truth can never be finally attained. That's why it's called exchange of ignorance is what? Argument. That's the exchange of ignorance. And exchange of intelligence or intelligent discussion is called a vichar. So with vichar, you are coming to some conclusion. With arguments, all we are doing is giving the points to make our way of doing better than your way. Okay, so exchange of intelligence is a discussion. So discussion is okay. Arguments creates a little friction between two people. But discussion takes us to the conclusion of what we are discussing. That's why this one of the verse, that mantra which I recite, that Om Sahnavavtu, Sahno Bhunaktu, we are just praying to God that when we study something to this level, We should not waste time in arguments. Discussion is okay. Argument is not. In arguments, we are trying to put each other down. Then we don't reach anywhere. Okay. So we got to strive our best to cultivate and experience the tranquility of the self in ourselves. So that's all we are after. I want to know myself by meditating, by serving, by prayers, by studying, by discussion. Ultimately, I want to know myself because that is the goal of life. So Rishi Astavakra is explaining the qualification of a guru in the following verse, because he is a guru and there are so many gurus. Sometimes we wonder who is our guru. So he just puts it, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna said the same thing. Over here he says, because the reason he's putting it over here, because in the previous verse, he mentioned the sadhus and the yogis and the maharishi. But you got to follow a certain path. Which path to follow? Your guru's path. And who is a guru? That's why he's mentioning it over here. Kritva murti parigyanam chaitanya se nakim guru nirved samtaha yuktyaha yasataryate samsrite. Kritva means gaining. Murti parigyanam, realization of the true nature. Chaitanya se, of pure consciousness. Na means not. Kim means, it's almost like a how or interrogative. Guru is a spiritual guide. Nirved samata yuktya. These are the three terms we've been talking about in this chapter. By indifference, equanimity, and logical reasoning. Ya means who, sa means he, taryati, saves himself. Samsrite, from sansar. He who apprehends the true nature of pure consciousness by complete indifference to the world, by equanimity, and by logical reasoning, and thus saves himself from this round of birth and death. This is what sansar is, coming again and again into this world. Is he not really the guru? So that's why I said he's giving us a qualification of a guru according to the Vedic scriptures. There should be a knowledge of the scriptures, no doubt. But there's an added beauty in a spiritual teacher. It's almost like an essential qualifications for a teacher, that there has to be his own inner awakening accomplished by these three: of indifference, of equanimity, and the logical reasoning. It's like a direct experience. That is a most valid qualification for a teacher. Because if teacher has not experienced the self, how can that teacher makes us experience that? And ultimately, that's what's called Gyan. The experience is the Gyan. Experience is, theory is not Gyan. Experience is Gyan. We have done Guru Gita also at the ashram a couple of years ago. Guru Gita is a conversation between Lord Shiva and Parvati. Over there, Lord Shiva says, Gyan he know, Guruhu tyajyo. What does that mean? Reject an incompetent and an ignorant guru. Gyan he know. Okay. So theoretical knowledge definitely a guru should have, but more than theoretical, it should be experienced knowledge also. So that's what this Gyan means. Okay. Or it's also said over there, Swa Vishraha nityam na janati par shantim karoti kim. Says he who knows no peace in himself, how can he bring peace into the heart of others? So in other words, if the Guru is agitated, where can he give us the peace? If a Guru is unhappy, if a Guru is a businessman, Guru is attached to the worldly life, how can we learn from that kind of a Guru? So these statements are from very top-notch scriptures, God's words. Lord Shiva is saying this to Parvati because she says, who is a Guru? What are the qualifications of a Guru? How can we find a Guru like that? It's all given in that beautiful scripture. It's called Guru Gita. Okay, so this is a Astavakra Gita. Then we have done we do it Saturday, Sunday, Bhagavad Gita. There are many Gitas. Gita really means a song, a poetry. Okay, so Guru Gita. पश्ये भूत विकारात् त्वं भूत मात्रान् यथार्थता तत्क्षणात् बंध निर्मुक्तः स्वरूपस्था भविष्यसि. Pashya means see, bhoot vikarat, modifications of the great elements. And we know what bhoots are, those 5 great elements. Right? And I'm sure you should remember this. This should be your vocabulary. If somebody says, how many bhoots? 5. What are they? Earth, water, fire, air, space. What are their qualities? We should know those also. Right? They should be on the tip of our tongue all the time. Okay, bhoot vikarat. Vikar is when something changes. So modification of the great elements. Tvam means you, bhoot matran, nothing but the great elements. Yathartha, in reality. Tat kshanat, at once. Bandh nirmukta, free from bondage. Savrup satha, abiding in your own nature. Swarup. Okay, that's your own nature. Bhavishyasi will be recognizing the modifications of the elements as nothing in reality. But the 5 elements themselves, you will at once be free from their bondage. And thus abide in your true nature. Because what are we? Why are we bondaged? We are bondaged because of these elements. Whatever is manifested, we get bondaged with that. But he says, what is that? It's only a change of these elements. When you know in reality, this is only a modification of the elements, why are you bondaged? When you have that clear in your mind, you will experience yourself. So the elements are the fundamental material with which the entire world of forms is built up. Everything in this universe is made up of these 5 elements. Combination, permutation, that's what this is. We all know what is ice. No different than water. And what is vapor? In essence, no different than ice. Just different modification. But if somebody says, no, I want only water, I don't like vapor. That's how we get bondaged. Very strong like and a dislike. That's a bondage. See, just like if something is made out of gold, it cannot be anything other than gold. Only the form is changing, but in essence, it's gold. The same way, all these different forms, they are only made up of these 5 elements. That's what he's telling us. So taking the objects of the world as something real that's how the desires cultivate in our mind. And then we want to, the desire, it doesn't stay as a desire. We want to possess that. We want to enjoy it. And if we cannot possess it, a person who comes in between, a circumstance which comes in between, then we just become aggravated. So desires are always about these 5 elements. But once we realize that the entire perceived world is a play of inert elements, there is an immediate sense of disenchantment. And instantaneously, that attachment to these things disappear from our heart. And that is the growth. So when the mind is quiet, in that quietness, from that quietness, the pure consciousness, undisturbed by thoughts, can be apprehended. Otherwise, these desires, they keep on creating the fluctuations, keep on creating the upheaval in our mind. So that's why a few minutes a day, every day, try to quieten the mind and see the tranquility. Because that's what we are after. That is our goal, the peacefulness. Vasana eva sansaraha iti sarva vimunchitaha tat tyagaha vasana tyagat sthiti adhye yatha tatha. So now he is using the word vasana over here. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with the term vasana. So ordinarily we call vasana a desire. But vasanas are desires in the seed form. So from the vasanas, desires erupt. Okay, so vasana is a seed of desires, not desires. Ev means surely, sansaraha the world, iti means so, sarva means all, vimunch, renounce, ta means those. Tat tyagaha, that means that, tyag means renunciation. So renunciation of that, vasana tyagat, by giving up of desires in the subtle form. Sthiti, you may live, adhye, now, yatha tatha, wherever you may be. That means you don't have to go to the mountains or in a cave or near the holy river, wherever you are. Desires alone constitute the world. Thereafter, you please renounce them all. The giving up of desires is the renunciation of the world. Now you may live anywhere you like. You'll be happy, you'll be content, you'll be peaceful. So again, just remember that vasanas are the subtle impulses and tendencies deep in our personality. And vasanas determine the emotional and the intellectual profile in us. See, normally people say, as the mind, so the man. But a serious student says, because mind is just several layers of the mind. But the real color is because of the deeper mind. As the vasanas, so the man. Okay? Because vasanas are the one, if you have sattvic vasana, our mind will tell us to do sattvic things. If we have the tamasic vasanas, we will be eager to do the tamasic things. Okay? So it's a subtle impressions is our desire in our intellect. Yes, Jyoti.
Shilpa and then Urmil Chawla, they both have a question.
Sure.
Shilpa?
Unmute, please, Shilpa. Can't hear you.
Vasana, is it the same thing as impressions?
Okay, impressions are even subtler than vasanas. Impression word is used for sanskaras.
Sanskaras. Okay.
From sanskaras to the vasanas to the vrittis. Okay? So it's like see, just like a water and the vapor. Okay? So it's like a subtle is impressions. Then comes vasanas. Okay?
Okay.
So vasanas are little grosser, gross form of impression.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? So
my question, and my question is, okay, thank you. My question is, focusing on vasanas or desires, desires that everything is a desire, this desire, that, want this, want that. So between desires, wants, needs, where do we draw the line in this variety of desire?